What's up, CBS Sports HQ YouTube fans? I'm Erik Kuselias, and I'll be breaking down the NFC West division today with futures, picks, props, and more. Here we go. Yeah, San Francisco, I'm Erik Kuselias. You know, last year the 49ers had that curse of the Super Bowl loser I always talk about. Last 50 years, only one Super Bowl loser won it next year. Only one in the last 25 even went back, and that was the same team. So basically, you lose a Super Bowl, you have a bad year the next year, and they did. This year, they're projected to go at 10.5. I kind of lean under, but I don't love it. You know, they're minus 35 in the turnover ratio under Kyle Shanahan. And other than the Super Bowl year, they've not had a good year. They got to show me before I'm going to bet them over. Plus, I don't like what's going on at quarterback. Is it Trey Lance? Is it Jimmy G? Are they going to switch? I'm not sure. Now, from a fantasy perspective, you know they're going to run the ball. They average over 20 rushing touchdowns, and they have a crowded backfield. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Trey Sermon. I'm going to get him on my team. I'm going to get him late. And I'm going to gamble that second half of the year he's going to be the guy there. Because if he becomes the guy, he could win me the league. I really like more Sermon than most people. I have him 5, 6, 7 spots ahead of where most people have him on their boards. Same thing with Brandon Ayuk. He's a stud. He had 7 touchdowns in 12 games. If they can get him the ball, and Kyle Shanahan throws it to his number one target more than anybody this side of John Gruden, Ayuk is going to outperform expectations. Ayuk will be on my team, Trey Sermon will be on my team, and they will both help me. Ayuk all year long, Sermon in the second half. I'm tempted on George Kittle. The injuries scare me, though. He is the number one projected injury tight end, missing 3.5 games. I know he caught 15 passes in a game, but he scares me. I'll probably let somebody else take him, but one of these years, man, is he going to make somebody look good. Yeah, Seahawks. I'm Erik Kuselias. All right, 9 straight non-losing seasons in the Pacific Northwest. Only Pittsburgh has more. Been a lot of turnover, but it's been Russ, it's been Pete Carroll, and they figure it out. Last year was strange. Boy, did they figure it out. Defense historically bad first half of the year, and then top 5 second half of the year. They off to a great start, then 6-1 down the stretch, but then lost their playoff game at home. A very weird year. They're at 10. I like the exacta. Right? You can pick them to be exactly 10-7, plus 400. I think that's their record. I'll take that at plus 400 as a team prop. I'm very nervous about Russ. He fades a lot. Not as much as Kyler Murray, but he'll fade down the stretch. First half last year, 3.5 touchdowns a game. Second half, 1.5. And oh, by the way, passing yards almost cut in half. So Russ is a first half guy, not a second half guy. That always makes me a little nervous because I'm trying to win the championship, not just make the playoffs. When you look at the wide receivers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, only pair of wide receivers to each have double-digit touchdowns. They have a new OC, but he came from a system where he threw it almost exclusively to the wide receivers. And while DK Metcalf is the sexier name, Lockett is the better value. All right? He has the better rapport with Russ. Inside the 10, 14 out of 16 over the last 2 years. Catches everything at the goal line inside the 10 from Russ. Russ goes to him. He has 10 touchdowns. That's where he does it. Plus, he had 17 more catches than DK Metcalf last year. So I like him much later in the draft for basically very close production than DK Metcalf. Russ will cook. DK Metcalf will get his. And Tyler Lockett will be very good value for Seattle. Yeah, Rams. I'm Erik Kuselias. You know, if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, the Rams are very sane. They shake it up. They'll make deals, baby. They'll bring in guys. They'll trade for Jalen Ramsey. And this offseason, that's it. They brought in Matthew Stafford. Their win total at 10.5, it feels right. I'd buy them a little over. I think they're going to get to 11, maybe 12. This is an over team for me. Not my best over, but I like them. Now, in terms of a player prop, I mentioned Matt Stafford. How about him plus 1,200 to lead the league in passing yards? They almost got there with Goff the year they went to the Super Bowl, and Stafford is a much better player. Plus, no Cam Akers. They may rely more on the vet. I like Stafford at plus 1,200 as a good long shot play. And fantasy-wise, I like a Stafford, Darrell Henderson stack. You're not going to have to draft him early, and you're going to get every Ram touchdown. There's going to be a lot of them. Henderson is my guy. 6 times he had 10 carries last year. He averaged 90 yards, and the Rams have 20 rushing touchdowns. You can book it. He's going to get the vast majority of those. He is criminally underrated. I know mild thumb sprain. I don't care. I also like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. They're both underrated 2 years in a row. They're the only wide receiver tandems with 90 catches each. And I like Cooper Kupp over on his touchdown prop. I know he only had 3 last year, but he had 16 in the previous 24 games, and now he has Stafford. It is a very low number for Cooper Kupp at 5.5. I want him over on the touchdowns. Woods is not so much a touchdown guy, but Kupp's going to get their touchdowns this year. He's the guy I want. He's going to help you out a lot. Ramage, baby. I'm buying in L.A. Yeah, Arizona. I'm Erik Kuselias. All right, the Cardinals are a team that I'm going to fade, and you should too. 8-8 last year, but they had a very easy schedule. They had a Hail Mary win. I love the under here. They need 9-8 to beat us, and I'm not sure that's it. I know they added an aging J.J. Watt, but they might start 1-5 with this schedule. It's not easy. And, you know, only the Jets have a longer playoff drought. That should continue. The player prop, I'm going to bet against Kyler Murray, the rushing touchdowns. It's 7.5. He had 11 last year, but he only had 1 in the last 7 games. Plus, he got banged up, and they don't want to make that mistake again. In fact, he fades down the stretch, has every year of his career. He's not going to win you the fantasy championship. You don't want to draft him. People have him as a top 5 quarterback, but the problem is he doesn't play well late in the year because he's little and he does get banged up. Last 6 games, hit 250 passing yards once and only had 8 total touchdowns. You draft him at your own peril because you're not going to win the title with him. But James Conner might help you. He's my sleeper. I don't like Chase Edmonds. I think he's going to get hurt. Cliff Kingsbury loves running the ball at the 1-yard line more than anybody else. Conner, second half of the year, could really help you and be one of the great sleepers second half of the season.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.